Hey guys, today I'm here to do a review and flip through of the Kawaii Tarot. Now, I know there's been a lot of these videos and flip throughs online, but the way I do my reviews is if I'm working with a deck and I feel particularly strongly about it, then I do the review and the flip through. I've been using this for the entire week and I don't know, I'm taken, guys. I'm in love. This is it. This is my current favorite deck. There's a lot about it that I love, but I'll do that at the end. It comes in a box that looks like this. It's by Rock Point. It's a, I want to say it's like a clamshell, but there's no clasp, there's no magnet. It just opens kind of like a book. I like to think it opens like a book. It only opens up to here, and then it stops. So you do have to pull on the tab to get the cards out. Oh, and this happens to me a lot too, where this whole thing will come out from the bottom. So that is the packaging. It could be a little better. I might glue that to the bottom so it doesn't come out on me every time. But that's what it is. And I'm gonna just start by saying, I know people have been talking about how cheap this deck is and they're forgiving a lot about it, but I don't think this deck is cheap. Or at least when I bought it, it was 31 Canadian dollars, which to me is not a cheap deck. It's just a regularly priced deck. For me, cheap is something like the Everyday Tarot. That one, when I bought it, I paid $10. I recently searched it and it's $15. I bought mine a few years ago. Cheap is something like the Uncommon Tarot. I bought it for $20, although when I searched currently today, I've noticed that's also jumped up in price to over $30. So that one's out of my cheap price range now. So I don't know, maybe when people were buying this deck, it was cheaper, and then I missed that cheap pricing. I don't know. But I don't think this is a cheap deck. This is just a normal price deck. So all the little things we're going to go through now about the cardstock and the book, keep in mind, I think this is a full price deck. So the box could be better. The book, however, is adorable, and I really like it. You have like a little book. It's all in, this one is all in English. Also by Rock Point. Doesn't say if it's written by anybody else, but the illustrator of the deck is Lulu Mayo. Perhaps that is also who wrote the book. It's left to us to figure that out. But we do get a table of contents with an introduction, a beginner's guide to the tarot, the major arcana, the minor arcana, and continue the journey. I'm just going to go through the introduction really quick. I'm going to read it actually because I think it's super sweet. But I'll leave the rest for you guys to discover on your own if you choose to get this deck. So I'm just going to take it out of frame for a moment. It says, Introduction. Congratulations! You now have your very own super cute set of tarot cards. This shows excellent judgment on your part, because there are nearly as many different ways to design tarot cards as there are people. Do you like cats, goth music, Salvador Dali, or the sitcom The Golden Girls? Then there is a tarot deck out there for you. But you chose the Kawaii Tarot. Again, congrats, smart move. That could be because you're a lover of all things kawaii, or because you're simply a fan in general of the uber colorful and adorable. However you came to Kawaii Tarot, know that you are on the right path. Something led you to these cards. That connection between deck and reader is crucial. Without that, it can be like two people speaking different languages. Let the fun begin. So super cute introduction. I like that. And then there's a little bit about what tarot is and what it isn't. A tiny little history about it. How to take care of the cards. Questions you can ask, questions you shouldn't ask, shuffling, just a very brief little beginner's introduction. Like I said, I'm not going to get too much into that. And then you have the major arcana. You get a few sentences for each card, and that continues throughout the minors as well. Just a few sentences. I've noticed that a lot of these little descriptions have built-in questions though, and that has been really helpful and refreshing. They're they're kind of like they're communicating with you directly if you use this book. They're asking you questions. It's like a conversation. That's what I was trying to say. So the way this book is designed, if you use it with the cards, it feels like you're having a conversation with the deck, which I think is super cute and smart. I don't remember if I mentioned this, so you get a few sentences for the majors, you get the same amount of information for the minors, and then at the very end, there's continue the journey and a little table of astrological connections. It's very, very brief, very simple. And then it also talks about some games you can play. It mentions solitaire, but it also mentions the game of Tarochi. And it gives you 2 sources that you can look up if you want to learn the rules of that game. I think it's a really well written book. It's concise, you know, C+ on the box, but A+ on the book. Moving on now to the cards and the cardstock. This is the kind of cardstock I do not enjoy. It's cardboardy, but it's not too thick, so it does still have a flex to it. I haven't had any trouble shuffling it. This has now replaced my Mons Tarot, which I've bent a few of the cards because the cardstock is that same cardboard but thick, so they always bend, and I mean, if I can't shuffle them. So this is replacing that deck for me. I have no issue shuffling it. It's not my favorite cardstock. It feels like, I always say this, but it feels like cereal box cardboard. This one's actually a little thinner than the cereal box cardboard. But like I said, it shuffles fine. It's not glossy, but it has some kind of coating on it, so it has a sheen. This is the card next to the window. And I've noticed some people talk about the inconsistencies of this deck. And I have one as well. I don't know if you can tell on video, but my deck is kind of separated into 2 decks here. Right, you can see that line there. And if I bring it closer, perhaps you can even see the difference in color. So I have a section that's really white and then kind of a bluish section. Well, that's because my deck has 2 different cardstocks on it. So the Fool is on that kind of white cardstock. It's quite flimsy. And then we'll just go to the back here. The King of Swords is part of that blue section of cardstock, and it is even flimsier. So I think what happened is they're starting to print on this slightly thicker cardstock, and I got a printing that was half the old cardstock and half the new cardstock. I don't know if the camera will pick up the difference in thickness of the 2 cards, but there's definitely a difference. You can feel it. So this one's slightly thinner and this one's slightly thicker. Like when I put the same pressure on them, that's how much one will bend, and like the other one bends more. That being said, when I do shuffle them all together, I don't have a problem. That little weird gap between them disappears, and they shuffle just fine. It's only noticeable when, you know, they're back in order like this. But I thought I would mention it because I noticed other people having other issues with their deck printings. So I thought I would just mention it. You know, you might get some weird Frankenstein 2 different cardstock deck, but the backs are still the same. I don't really notice a difference in them. The titles are all written in these banners, but they are not numbered. Out of the box, Strength appears as number 8, I think. Yeah, Strength appears right before the Hermit out of the box. But again, none of the cards are numbered, so you can assign whichever number you want to those cards. And then in the minors, the numeric value is written via the alphabet on the bottom banners. I don't know, guys. I don't know what I'm saying. But otherwise, it's organized pretty standard. Out of the box, it came with the swords at the back as the last suit. I usually put the pentacles as my last suit. And it came with, yeah, wands is the first suit, which is what I usually do as well. So, but again, nothing is numbered in the majors, so you can assign them however you would like. And of course, you can arrange the minors however you are accustomed to having them. Nothing's stopping you from doing that with this deck, which I do appreciate. Now I'm going to go ahead, put on some music, and just flip through the cards, and at the end, I'll give some final thoughts and share some of my favorite cards and why I'm so in love with this deck right now. I'm going to start with the Fool card. I enjoy that it is the lucky cat. At least it looks like the lucky cat to me. Normally they have the one paw up. This one has both paws up, but it's still very similar. And I like that because, you know, at the beginning of a journey, you might not have all the information or knowledge. You're mostly going off on your own, and luck is kind of what your companion is. And as you move through it, it becomes more about skill and knowledge than about luck. But I do like that that is the depiction for the Fool. I absolutely love these lovers. There's nothing I have to say really about this card that's special, but the little bunnies do make a heart shape. You have the traditional symbology of the apple tree, the fire tree. The snake is here in these branches as well. I like that the volcano has this little cloud on the bottom, on their bottoms. They just look so cozy and cute, and all the symbology is still there. I think this is one of my favorite chariot cards ever. The little frog conducting the butterflies that are operating his little lily pad purely off magic. I love it. It's so whimsical. Also, the strength card. I love the strength card. It's adorable. It really does make me think of like our cats that we had when we were younger and how much shit they had to go through and like put up with us, you know, like hugging them and cuddling with them. uh, and just that's kind of a strength, right? Patience, and dealing with us horrible little children. But it also gives me a bit of a melancholy feel. I see this picture here and I wonder if there was some loss in this kitty's life. I don't know. It's just the way I'm interpreting the card. So, but the fact that that's there, that layer is there for you if you want to use it, I think that's really great. Oh, the Hermit is just cute and adorable. Okay, I'm going to stop. I'm not going through all of these. Another thing I noticed in the Hangman is that this took me a few... This card kept coming up for me this week, I think like 3 times. And it took me a moment to notice there is a little red thread holding his tiny little talons to the branch. Didn't notice that before, so I thought I'd just point it out. This death card is just great. It's a whole end of an era. The world is melting, death to all, but in the most adorable way. And the last major arcana card that I really, really love is the World card. This is now officially my favorite World card ever. I love the whale on the wave. It's pure perfection, in my opinion. So I love, love, love that World card. There's one major arcana card that I don't connect to, and this is the only card in the deck that I'm struggling with, and that's the Devil. Now, it hasn't come up for me in any readings, so maybe once it does, I'll have a better way to read it. But as of right now, I just don't really get this Devil. If you have this deck, or if you have any ideas, just looking at this image about it, please feel free to comment, let me know, because I'm just not seeing the Devil in this card. I see the little flame tail and the little grape tail, but I don't get Devil vibes from this card yet. Again, if you do, please help me. Another card I love is the Five of Wands. I think a lot of people have talked about this card already, so I'm not going to go too much into it. But the fact that they're all fighting on this cactus, making everything so much worse than it is, I love it. In the Queen of Wands, I noticed these little dinosaur figures. I think they're meant to be like the salamanders in the salamander symbology. You see they're breathing like little fireballs, but they just look like tiny dinosaurs, and it's adorable, and I love it. The way the symbology was kind of weaved into this deck in the most adorable way is just brilliant. I love it. Just another card that I love aesthetically. It's beautiful. Their little wings are bandaged. These little dragons, or I guess they're dragons, I don't know. Little leg is bandaged. Then you have this big beacon of light, this whole building. And they even have like balloons with hearts coming out. It just really illustrates this card so well. And it really, really highlights kind of needing to get out of your own way and stop being stubborn. The Seven of Cups makes me think of me. I am this octopus playing with all of my decks. So many choices. I really saw myself in this card, and I thought that was neat. Also, this octopus has 7 legs instead of 8, and it doesn't bother me. It's adorable, and I love it. Oh, there's so many cards. I don't want to show them all, but here we have the Four of Wands, and it's a mom and her little baby sleeping, or dad, who knows, a brother or sister. I'm sorry. It's a little sloth sleeping with their baby. But you have like 3 other kids around them, jumping around, playing with swords. And you just get that feeling of sometimes you need to rest. There's no immediate danger. They're just playing around you. Just, you need this nap. Just take a break. This 8 of Swords. I think this is the first Eight of Swords I've seen where the character in it just looks so cozy and comfy. They can leave or they can stay. They seem pretty content to me. I just haven't had an Eight of Swords vibe like this before, so that's a neat one. The Queen of Swords is a card I always look at in a deck. It is my significator, and I'd like it to be not always as harsh as it's portrayed. This is the perfect queen. You have the frog on the butterfly. You can cut off the wings anytime you want, but you don't. I love this queen. I think this really makes the deck perfect for me. That is it. I'm not going to go through the whole deck. I would totally, but I'm not going to. I don't want to take up all that time. I do get the hype about this deck. I try to stay out of the hype, but in this case, I'm glad I gave into the hype. And I hope that you're glad I gave into the hype and made this video, because I know there's a lot of them out there. Maybe I spotted something someone didn't. I don't know. But it's a great little deck, and I just want to share that. So thank you for being here with me, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care.